Hey everybody, my name is Mike Tomorrow, and I want to welcome you to the latest episode of My Life with Asperger's. Today's topic I'm going to be talking about is one of our Autism in the Media stories. Now, I found two stories online within the past few days, and I'm going to share both of them in the next two videos. However, I wish I could do it in one video, but you know me and how I do autism in the media. I like to do a different story with a different video, so that's the way we're going to do it. Now, the first one that we have is the Autistic gardener. Here's a guy that has his own show in Britain, and he has Asperger's, and he does a garden, and he has a show about life on the garden. And he wants to teach the world that even adults have Asperger's and autism, and he also wants to teach the world that autism isn't a condition. It's just a different way of seeing the world. And I know how he feels. I want to teach the world that even though it's a mental disability, we try to function the best that we can. You know? So basically, I'm going to read the article to you. A little bit of the article anyways. You can see I'll post the link of the article on the description so you can view the rest of it. Alan Gardner, star of Channel 4's cultural hit The Autistic Gardener, describes how being diagnosed with Asperger's has affected his life. As a society, we are hesitant to broach the subject of autism, and when we do, we're treading on eggshells, worrying what to say, trying not to offend, and generally making this mental condition seem scarier than it needs to be. In the news and media, autism spectrum disorder, ASD, is predominantly discussed with regards to children. From documentaries such as Sounding the Alarm and The Asperger's Difference, to the newsroom debates surrounding the challenges of educating ASD youngsters, our interest in the condition is almost exclusively reserved for the under 20s. Alan Gardner, star of Channel 4 recent hit The Autistic Gardener, is changing people's perceptions of ASD, and he spoke to us about living as an adult man with the condition, an exceptionally successful landscaper in his mid-50s. Alan exhibits 14 of the 18 ASD symptoms and suffers from Asperger syndrome. Now, I can agree with him on that, and I am proud of Mr. Gardner, because he's trying to do something. He's trying to teach the world about life living with autism and Asperger's, like I do with my videos. I know his show is popular, and my videos are not. And I'm trying to change that. And I'm trying to spread the word to everybody. I'm even trying to get a TV show done at some point in my life. It'd be nice to have a TV show on a network, either a cable network or a broadcast network, or something to tell people, hey, we're adults with Asperger's or autism, and we're on the autism spectrum, and we need to teach you what our life is, living with the conditions that we go through every day. And we need to teach you about it, because if you don't know it, then it'd be kind of hard for you guys to communicate with us. Or it's not, well, what I mean is, if you guys don't know about it, it might be a little hard to know what it is and how to say things around us or act around us. And, we just want to feel fit into the world, you know? But anyways, I'm going to continue on reading the article a little bit more. But that's not quite right, because not one thing about Alan says sufferer. He laughs, he jokes, and he seems to love sharing his life story. Someone like me, I do too. I do love sharing my story. The strange thing he says is that I was only diagnosed 2 weeks ago. I was diagnosed. We were just talking. We're talking about Mr. Gardner here. Mr. Damaro, which is myself, I've been diagnosed for 9 years, and it's been a long time that my parents have been doing a lot of testings and all to figure out what I have. But no, I made a mistake. 2 years ago he was diagnosed, not 2 weeks ago. Excuse me, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to get confused, I just read it differently. It continues on. At school, I just thought I was quirky, a bit nerdy, and not very good academically. It never struck to me that it was a condition. And I feel the same way he does, because I felt that way too, going to school. I felt a little bit nerdy for being a know-it-all, especially when I was a kid. And I felt I was quirky. I felt I was weird and unique growing up. And continues to say, but it's not a condition, not really. Just a different way of seeing the world. That's true. Autism affects the body both physically and mentally, complicating some of the day-to-day tasks us neurotypicals, a delightfully almost deregulatory term autists use to describe the rest of us, or the rest of the world, take for granted. Well, I don't use autists to describe people that are on the autism spectrum. I never use the word. I know I use Aspies for us Aspies that have Asperger's, but I never quite used the word autist before. Those on the spectrum tend to struggle with the balance or coordination. Sport is often ruled out. Alan tells me, which is the reporter, that he can't even catch a ball. There was this one episode we filmed, he said, and it rained really badly. And his young autist proteges, were just all slipping all over the place in the quagmire of clay because we can't balance. Now, I feel the same way too on that, because there are some times I want to fall, or when I try to walk, sometimes I cannot. If I stand too long, I feel like sometimes I'm going to fall, and it's not my fault, But I try to live the best I can, and I try to have the correct balance as I can. So, but basically, I'm not going to read the whole article to you. You can read the rest of it online. But I am going to read a little bit down the road here. Loads of successful people have autism, Alan points out. Henry Ford, Steven Spielberg, Charles Darwin, Albert Einstein. And it's because of their minds are so driven and focused that they can become masters of their field. I tell you, if someone with Asperger's decided they want to become prime minister, I wouldn't bet against them. So he's pretty smart on saying that. Or anybody around the world that wants to run for a political office of their nation, they can do that. And we wouldn't bet against them, you know? It's pretty cool, his article that he talks about. And I think, according to this, and the article was done on the 22nd, his show is on Wednesday nights on Channel 4 at 8 p.m. British time. So that's like 3 p.m. here in the United States, or Eastern time. So, but basically, this is pretty cool. This is a pretty cool guy, and